because I blame myself for my father's death. And even though I didn't have anything to do with my father's death, but it's just something that you think is your fault, right? And I didn't want to do that to my son.
Willie D. Live.
How did you get out?
Well, when I was stuck in Spain, pregnant, in an abusive relationship where he had banished me to another room and took a 15-year-old mistress, and I was forbidden from going to his basketball game. And I loved supporting him in basketball because he had stopped me from my sports dream. So I stopped running track. Because I was a really good basketball player when I was in Spain, they tried to get me to play for the Spanish women's team, and they were going to pay me $90,000 a year. That was a lot of money in 1991. But he didn't want me to play, and I was in love with him, and he told me I should be a dutiful wife. So I did that, and then anyway, I'm pregnant. He banishes me, and I was stuck in a foreign country with no money, alone, depressed. I attempted suicide, and then I thought better of it because my father committed suicide, and I did not want to do to my son what my father did to me. And I was pregnant, and I was concerned that if I kill myself, that I would kill my son because I was very far along. So I was like, my son, I delivered my son there, so I was like maybe 8 or 9 months. So I couldn't live with like killing my son who, he was big enough to live outside of my womb. And then if I kill myself and then he lived, maybe he would be brain dead or he'd have brain problems. And or if he was fine, if I kill myself and he lived through it, I knew he would blame himself because I blamed myself for my father's death. And even though I didn't have anything to do with my father's death, but it's just something that you think is your fault, right? And I didn't want to do that to my son.
Did you ever think about killing dude?
No.
That never crossed your mind?
No.
Boy, I'd have killed his ass. It wouldn't have even been a question. It was like if I would have, moving on. Moving on.
You gotta know.
But I understand. I do understand.
He was my child's father.
I understand.
I loved him.
Yeah.
He kept saying he would change. He would treat me better. He told me when we got married that he would never cheat on me. So I was hopeful that when we finally got married, because it took us 5 years to get married, that he would be different. And so I hoped and wished and prayed, and I wanted him to marry me. And we finally got married, and he jumped on me on November 8th of 1995. On November 8th of 1995, and I called the police, and that was my day of freedom. And he fled the country because he had a number of prior domestic violence cases against me. And the judge in Fort Bend said, if you come back here, I'm going to lock you up for 6 months. If you think about it, getting locked up for 6 months is not even a long time. But he fled the country, and he never came back to the U.S.
So where is he now?
Dead.
How did he die?
He died, well, I told you he drank a 12-pack a day. And I used to tell him when we were younger, babe, please don't drink. It's bad for you. But he didn't listen. And so he ended up needing a kidney, a liver. Alcohol destroys your liver. So he ended up needing a liver transplant, and he died May 4th of 2020. It was during COVID, but he didn't die of COVID. Before COVID, in December of 2019, they said he was terminal because of the damage that had happened with all the alcohol. And he ended up staying alive until May of 2020, May 4th of 2020. He died. He was 54.
What's your sibling gender ratio? You got three sisters?
There's 3 girls and 2 boys.
Now, one of your brothers died, right?
Yeah, he was murdered.
He was murdered, yeah. And
his name was Emeka. His nickname was Black. He was hustling. He was doing stuff he ain't had no business doing. He got shot 5 times, twice in the head, May 31st, 1996. Over there off of Fondren and in them apartments over there across from the library, Fondren and Braeswood. He got killed in them apartments.
One thing I've just noticed that you're really good at remembering dates. Like dates. So like I'd be like, I think that was 89.
My brother died May 31st, 1996. Yeah. He died exactly 2 weeks to the day that I competed in the 1996 Olympic trials in Atlanta, and it was my sibling. He was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Your 19-year-old brother shouldn't be getting murdered. So yeah, I remember that. My father died December 7th, 1966. I don't know why, but I remember.
But you remember dates outside of just dates that people died. I remember you was saying something about, what was that other date you threw out there? You was talking about what's the guy name that you was on? I think you was talking about one of your teammates, and you mentioned the date.
My mother says she believes I remember coming out of her stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Yeah.
why I don't know why I remember, I just do.